podcast. Oh, that was a better. All right. Hello, my name's Sean. I'm the host of the Movie Skips podcast, and today we're going to be looking at some movies. I don't know. I was a bit busy last week, with the whole coronavirus thing, and I wasn't able to record. But that means good news for you, because we have double the news, which many of you would probably have seen. It's lots of the stuff has already been advertised and whatnot, but let's go through it again. Good times. We get to look back at the last 2 weeks, and we get to talk about some pretty interesting stuff that's happened. I know a lot of movies have been postponed, and a lot of movies and TV shows have had new dates revealed and whatnot, and there's just a whole bunch of stuff in the world right now. And I just want to quickly, before we get into the news, just want to say to you guys, hope you're staying safe, hope you're staying well, hope you're social distancing, and I hope this is like a relief for you. Like, you can listen to this and be like, wow, this is interesting, this is cool. Wow, I didn't realize that, I didn't realize this, I didn't realize that, that's really cool. And yeah, let's stop with all the gushy stuff and let's get into the news. Now, we are going to start with the very first thing that I have on this list, which is most of my news that I have written down here have been quote unquote retconned. So let's get straight into it. In the series Loki, will be going to explore how Loki have struggled with the identity control of who he is. That's interesting. That's interesting. I mean, I'm very excited for the Loki TV show, as I said before, but there's just lots of things that you can do with the show, and I'm really excited to see how it will go on. But let's move on from that. There's nothing really much I can talk about that. Hasn't come out yet. We haven't seen a trailer that's longer than 3 seconds, but let's just continue anyway. Wonder Woman 1984 has been postponed to theaters from its July release date to August the 14th. Now, if the world is going as it is right now, I bet it won't come out in that time. It'll be postponed again. Or it'll be put onto a streaming service in which I'll be like, woo! I actually looked up, I had an idea of how, places like this can make money like this if they release their movies. Obviously there's hundreds of streaming services, hundreds of them, and you can make anything with them. But why is there not like a movie theater-esque streaming service? You can release movies as per usual. You pay for your tickets as per usual on there, and you stream it from your house. I know that's kind of like a loophole thing. You can buy one ticket and you can have 50 people in your house. That's a really annoying thing, because people want to pay the tickets for that. That's the reason why we have theaters in the first place. But at least you're making money for this movie without continually postponing every single movie. Because we don't want another New Mutants on our hands, where every movie gets postponed for 3 years and will possibly never come out. It's just a bad circumstance. Let's move on. Other movies that have been delayed by Warner Brothers is Scoob and the Maleficent Shift. I don't know what that is, but Scoob, on the other hand, Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? We got some work to do now. Yeah, that is my childhood right there. And, I'm excited. I'm excited for this. I'm excited for that movie. I love Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo was my childhood, but it's been delayed. So not much to say about that, but let's move on. The Walking Dead finale has been postponed. It has been post-production delays caused the finale episode to debut as a TV special. It has been postponed, and that's just the case with lots of things, so we might as well just move on. Tenet release date has not shifted. Warner Brothers are sticking with Tenet. They're going to be like, it's coming out and we don't care, even though it's probably going to get postponed. Alright, let's move on. Series art teases Iron Man on Sakaar. This is for the What If TV show, if you don't know. Pretty much what the What If TV show for Marvel is, it's based off the comics of the same name, What If, and it takes like a idea and makes it into a comic. So like, what if Iron Man wasn't Tony Stark? And in MCU terms, what if Thanos won in Endgame and not everyone else? And those are pretty cool stuff, but they're like taking it to the next level. There's like zombie Captain America, there's Peggy Carter as Captain England. There's just lots of things that can come along with it. And, it teases that Iron Man will be on Sakaar. If those of you who don't remember what Sakaar is the planet from Thor Ragnarok where Jeff Goldblum's character, the Grandmaster, has like fighting tournaments there. Gladiator-esque stuff there, and I really like to see Iron Man there, Robert Downey Jr. there, reprising his role. By the way, this is animated. It's an animated TV show. They're not actually going to make this into a live action TV show. It cost way too much money, even though Disney have a lot of money, so it doesn't really matter. But we're just going to keep moving on. We're going to keep moving forward. Justice League Mortal to resume production. Ryan's uncombed Justice League Mortal documentary about George Miller's scrap DC is getting a new life as production is set to resume. For those of you who don't know what Justice League Mortal was, it was a movie that was meant to come out in 2007 where it was the first ever Justice League movie. It wasn't going to be like a Origins Justice League movie. It was going to be straight to business. It was going to be like Justice League's already known. They have Batman, they have Superman. But the thing is about this movie that they were making, we had Christian Bale Batman and we had Brandon Routh Superman in cinemas at this time when this movie was being in production, but they were completely recasting Batman and Superman in their own universe. And, they were going to film in our backyard in Australia, but they decided, hey, we're going to change the laws right now, and this movie needs to be like an Australian movie, like it needs to be Australian, and the director was Australian. I think half the cast was Australian, the full production team was Australian. They were willing to keep the accents of the Australian characters in this, but the Australian government said no, and so the movie got put into development hell and completely got scrapped basically for our Justice League that we have now. Zack Snyder, if you're listening to this, please release the Snyder Cut. Very pretty, please. I love your work. Joss Whedon didn't do a very good job, and I'm really excited for your Justice League. That's a little thing right there. But it says that it's set to resume. So they're getting everyone back to make this movie. That's really surprising. I was really surprised when I read this because I was like, this movie is not good. It's not good. It's in production hell. But the scripts got leaked onto the internet. It was just a big nightmare. The whole movie production. But they were making a documentary about it, and now they're making the actual movie. So yeah, keen to see that. Let's move on. Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. Now, this isn't a live-action movie. This is back to the animated universe, the DCAU, the Detective Comics animated universe, where they have such movies as Son of Batman, Batman Bad Blood, Justice League War, Justice League Dark, Justice League Atlantis. Throne of Atlantis. I love this movie series. It's probably the best movie series of the Justice League that has been released. And the reason why we bring up this Apocalypse War thing is because it's going to be the end of the DCAU. It's not going to be the end of DC animated movies. It's going to be the end of the DCAU universe, which is sad because I love this universe. It's such a good universe. You can't not tell me it's a good universe because it is a good universe. It's a great movie series. I love it. I love it to bits because animation has so much flexibility with what you can do. You can literally have all your superheroes do crazy, stupid stunts, and it won't affect any of the actors, and you can go as far as you want. You can have, they had the Death of Superman movie recently made, and it's brutal. Superman's getting punched in the face, he's bleeding all over the place, and it's so well animated, and all the Justice League's just being destroyed by Doomsday. And you couldn't do that in the Batman vs Superman movie where Doomsday was made. You couldn't have done that. Let's move on. The Rock confirms Hobbs and Shaw 2 is currently in development. I am excited. I'm just very pumped today. Hobbs and Shaw was a very funny movie. Definitely moved away from its predecessor, The Fast and the Furious. It kind of went into what The Fast and the Furious is now, rather than being a movie series about drag racing and gangs and stealing stuff and whatnot. It's about secret agents and whatnot. It's pretty stupid what they've done here, but Hobbs and Shaw is what it is, because rather than having Dominic Toretto, who was a drag racing person, now a secret agent and whatnot, they actually have someone who was a part of the FBI and an assassin. Two people that actually fit that genre. And I loved the movie, even though it had some pretty bad reviews. I loved the movie. I thought it was hilarious. I thought the Rock and Jason Statham had some great on-screen chemistry. Loved it. And the second one is in development. That's really exciting. I'm really excited. I'm really keen for this. We're gonna move on. I'm gonna read you a quote that Paul Rudd said about when he told his 9-year-old son that he was going to play Ant-Man. I'm only saying this because this is funny. He said to his son, "Hey, I've just been cast as Ant-Man," and his 9-year-old son said to him, "Wow, I can't wait to see how stupid that will be." Woo! Man, Paul Rudd, your son's more of a savage than you are. That's amazing. I love it. I love it. Let's move on. Venom 2 remains on schedule despite despite recent Sony delays. Sony Pictures hasn't changed the October 2nd, 2020 release date of Venom 2. Also, Monster Hunter is still on track to drop September 4, 2020. There has been pretty much nothing about Venom 2 that has been released or anything. That apart from a few set photos, there hasn't been much. I think the movie's still filming at the moment. Not 100% sure. It's been very quiet, and that worries me. Normally, you'd be like, "Oh, it's done filming. They can start editing it. They've done this, they've done that," and it's just at the point where you're just like, "Come on, guys, just give us something to nibble on. Give us a little trailer. Give us a little teaser. Just give us a little teaser of Carnage. That's all we want. Just a little 3-second of just Cletus Cassidy turning around and being like, 'Hey.' And then you'd be like, 'What the heck? This is awesome!' That's all we want. That's all we want. All I want. Let's move on. Zack Snyder says a live-action Batman The Dark Knight Returns film is possible. Now, for those of you who don't know what The Dark Knight Returns is, it is a story made by Frank Miller, very famous comic book artist, made the Sin City series. He's very famous. Then he made this comic book series called The Dark Knight Returns, which is about Batman, after being 20 years in retirement, comes back into a vigilante mode. He becomes back to Batman. At this time when Batman had disappeared, one of his Robins had died when he was on the job, Jason Todd, which has been well documented. Definitely go watch Batman Underneath the Red Hood. That is probably the best Batman animated movie ever made. Which I would definitely suggest seeing. It's very good. Let's keep going with this, but the story follows Batman coming back in as Batman, and all of his villains in the Rogue Gallery are all they're all different. Joker has been in not a coma, but has been brain dead for 20 years. Two-Face gets plastic surgery and he becomes a normal man, and it's all to do with this, and it just follows Batman, and Superman's working for the president, and That's where that big mech Batman suit versus Superman battle happened from Batman vs Superman. Came from the Dark Knight Returns, and it has possibly the best quotes in movie and comic book history in that movie. I'm just gonna try and find one of the quotes here because it's just such a good quotes from the movie. I know. Here we are. This is what he says to Superman after he basically beats him in the fight. He says, "I didn't have to go easy on you. A different binding agent, a stronger mix. I want you to remember that. I wanted to remind you to stay out of my way. In all the years to come, in your most private moments, I want you to remember the one man who beats you." And then he dies. He has a heart attack and he dies. But he doesn't actually. Spoiler. But there's lots of really good quotes in this movie. Like there's one here where he talks to, pretty much as in the whole story, there's this big gang called the Mutants. And the mutants had taken over, and once Batman defeats the mutant leader, pretty brutally, he beats him, breaking his arms. And another quote from what he says is "You don't get it, son. This isn't a mud hole. It's an operating table, and I'm the surgeon." And what he was saying by that is that he is the surgeon. He controls the fight, and he's punching him. He's breaking all of his bones, breaking his arms and legs, punching his nose in, and beating him up. Pretty much the most brutal Batman fight I've ever read and ever seen in animated form. But he's talking to the whole mutant people because they become a new gang called the Sons of Batman. And they're using guns, and that guns, if you don't know, is a Batman no-no. I mean, you wouldn't know that if you've seen the Batman movies. But he says, "A gun is a coward's weapon, a liar's weapon. We kill too often because we made it easy, too easy, sparing ourselves the mess and the work." Great. Definitely go check it out. I'd love to see it as a live action movie. So keen. Let's move on. Morbius, the vampire Marvel Batman, not Batman, Marvel vampire mutant from the Spider-Man comics, who was played by Jared Leto, has been delayed to next year. It was meant to come out in July, is now coming out March 19th, 2021. Not much to say about this. Really sad, really was keen for this. Let's move on. Spider-Man 3 officially holds production. Now this is sad, so I'm just going to have a drink for a second. Sorry, I just had a little bit there. But I was really excited for this movie because it was meant to come out I think it was this year. I think it was meant to come out at the end of this year. Or next year, whatever, I don't know. But I was really excited for this because it was a really exciting movie. Let's move on. John Bernthal, who plays the Punisher in the Netflix TV series, will reprise his role as Punisher in the upcoming MCU projects. He will appear in the classic suit. Oh my goodness gracious me! If you have seen the Punisher TV series, it is brilliant. It's not as good as Daredevil, but it's so good. They really made the character of the Punisher not only as a remorseless killer person, but they give his motivation that we actually root for him. We want him to kill these bad people, which is, you gotta be really good storytelling to make people want this guy, this crazy dude, to literally murder people. Really, really great story. Really excited. I would love to see him in an MCU project. Let's move on. This is a rumor. Marvel is reportedly eyeing Keanu Reeves to play Ghost Rider in the MCU. Yeah, not really much to say about the Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider is a pretty bad movie series. If you've seen the Nicolas Cage movie series, it's not very good. He wasn't the best in the role, but on TV show in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he actually did very well for himself in the show. It was very, very quiet, entertaining. Not Nick Cage, he wasn't in the show. There was another guy who played him, but that was probably the best adaptation of this role. And, excited to see it, excited to see how that pans out. If Keanu Reeves gets added to the role, he will do great. Shazam 2 is supposed to film this year. According to sources, Shazam 2 will begin production at the end of this year. Exciting, amazing, romantic. I don't know why I said that, but I'm excited for it. It's really, really quite cool. Let's move on. On the April 3rd, 2020 was the anniversary of when the Cyborg movie was meant to release. As you would know if you are well into the movie news community, after Man of Steel came out, DC, and with the success of Man of Steel, the DC at Comic-Con was like, don't worry, we got our universe. We got our entire DCEU universe, like the MCU, but we have this whole universe. We're making a Batman vs. Superman movie. We're making a Wonder Woman movie. We're making a Flash. We're making a Justice League. We're making 2 Justice Leagues, even though we only have 1. We're making a Flash. We're making an Aquaman. We're making Green Lantern. We're making all these movies. And then after Batman vs. Superman, they still had the movies planned. They're like, yeah, we're still going to release them. And then after that, we kind of like dulled off into like oblivion. Like once Justice League came out and came to really awful reviews, it just didn't work anymore. And sorry about that. Just got a message from someone. Need to reply to them because I don't want to be rude. Let's move on. Alright, we're going to move into our series of bad times call for bad movies. Bad times call for bad movies. Bad times, bad times call for bad movies. Yeah, that's my little intro to it. I don't know. I'm pretty bored. But I watched a few pretty bad movies in the past 2 weeks, and it's just bad. I watched Fantastic Four 94. For those of you who don't know, pretty much the story of the Fantastic Four is not. I'm not going to talk about the story of the movie. I'm talking about the film or how they made it. So pretty much, this guy bought the rights to the Fantastic Four in 1998 and had to make a movie by 1994. 1993. And pretty much what had happened was he to make a good Fantastic Four movie, they would have to legitimately make they would have to legitimately bring so much money to the table. It's not even funny to be able to make a project like this and be able to release a project like this in the best quality possible. And so they decided, hey, they went to this film director, and the film director was like, I'll make the movie. Make a movie for $1 million. They're like, okay, there you go. And the actors made a movie for $1 million, and it was set to release in 1994. They released trailers for the movie. The cast was touring comic conventions, comic stores, trying to get the movie, and then they were like, nope. We were never set to release this movie. It was never going to be a thing. We were never going to make that happen. And it was just a really, really sad moment in that community because the actors actually tried in the movie. They tried to make this movie good. And it's not good, by the way. It's not good. But it was because they only had $1 million to use in this movie. And that's really sad. It had such high potential. But it did have some funny parts in it. Dr. Doom was pretty funny in it. And the story of Dr. Doom was that him and Reed Richards were friends. And then he got into an accident and supposedly died. But that didn't really work. And there was a villain that came out who called himself Doom. And Reed Richards is just thinking, who is this Doom guy? I don't know. And 15 minutes of screen time it took for him to figure out who Doom was. And that's screen time. This could have been over a span of a few days in the time. And it was when Johnny Storm is like the really dumb character, is like, hey, isn't there like a guy that you used to work with who's like your mate, and he did all this work with you, and like he knows all your work. What was his name again? Victor Von Doom. And he's like, oh my goodness, it's him. You survived. What is wrong with you? And it's pretty stupid. But another funny bit was at the start of the movie, when the Fantastic Four get the powers, they like go to space. But literally everyone lands, all the boys land, and they land 15 meters apart. But they all come down and they're like, oh my gosh, we're alive! Sue Storm's not there, by the way. She's off in the distance. No one knows where she is, but they're like, yeah, we all survived! Yeah, we're so cool! We survived this apocalypse thing. We survived. We are amazing. But they just don't care about Sue Storm. She's like, yeah, we survived. And then Sue Storm comes in oh, that's right. You're here. But they don't actually say that, but that's the way that the movie made it seem like. They're like, yes, we all survived. And Sue's like, I'm here too. And they're like, oh, yes, you survived. When they actually didn't really remember her. Really funny. There were some bits in Doctor Doom's castle where they would beat up the Doom's henchmen, and then Doom would walk in after a while and be like, he'd be like, hey, he has a mask on. Hey, how are you guys doing? Oh crap! Everyone is gone. Everyone's gone. Everyone's gone. Everyone's dead. But I think the film producers of this movie kind of got confused with invisibility and intangibility, because if you don't know the difference, invisibility makes you turn invisible. You're still a human. You still have skin. You can still poke you. But intangibility means you're invisible, and people can put your hands through you. You can walk through walls and whatnot. And so what they would do in the movie is that Doom's henchmen would walk over with guns. Sue Storm would turn invisible, and then they'd shoot, and she would just come back up, and you'd be like, what? That's really confusing. I don't understand that. But, we could say, oh yeah, this is the worst Fantastic Four movie, when pretty much all of them are bad. All of them are bad. And speaking of which, we're going to talk about the Fantastic Four 2004. I think that's when it came out, but I think that would be really cool if the Fantastic Four came out in 2004. I'm actually going to Google it right now just to make sure that I got it right. Fantastic Four. Let's take a look. Not the bad one. Film series, The Fantastic Four. 2005, that's a shame. It didn't come out 2004. But let's move on. Now, they kind of went with the director Chris Columbus. He only had low budget comedies on his thing, so pretty much his idea for the Fantastic Four was this comedy filled adventure, and it would all be comedy. There'd be a little bits of action, but it'd be mostly comedy. And the producers are like, no, we need to make this a dramedy. It is not a dramedy. They just push drama in there, and here you go. There you go. You just deal with that for a bit. You just deal with that drama. And we're gonna have comedy over here. Comedy, yes. Got some bad jokes, bad sets that don't make any sense. And then we're gonna have action over here. Action, oh yeah, we don't care about the action. The action's pretty crap. But the movie, on the other hand, I remember from my childhood, I loved it. I thought it was so good. Michael Chiklis, who played The Thing, was the only cast member who actually read the comics. Read the comics for the movie, and it's he read the comics, and it was really, and he pretty much pushed for no. We're not CGIing me. We're not CGIing the Thing suit. It's going to be you. It's going to be us. We're going to do it practically. And it was a 60-pound suit. And I feel like he regretted it immediately. He regretted wearing it immediately. Anyway, the whole movie was really, really weird. There were they got Victor Von Doom. I feel like Victor Von Doom in this movie is probably the best out of all of them. Who's played by Australia's own Julian McMahon. Sorry, if you've been on this podcast before, I cannot pronounce last names. I don't know why, and first names. If it's not something simple like John Doe, I cannot pronounce it. I don't know. I'm sorry, but I can't. And if you don't know, he is the son of a prime minister. He's the son of a prime minister, and really, really, really funny. But let's move on. Now, this movie has some pretty stupid stuff that they try and make into comedy, such as the Invisible Woman. Pretty much everything she does in this movie, when she goes invisible, is trying to make a comedic effect. Like in this version of the Fantastic Four, she can't turn her clothes invisible. The only way she's invisible is if she's completely naked, pretty much. And they pretty much were just like, there was like this scene on the bridge, like pretty much the first action scene, and pretty much caused by the Thing, who's like brooding. He's like on the bridge, he's brooding. There's like a bird that poos on him, and then there's a guy who like attempts suicide in the middle of the bridge, and he's like, "Don't do it, you're so much to live for," and then he falls off, and then the Thing jumps in, causes a whole bunch of car crashes, and like no one dies. They're like clapping them afterwards, going, "Woo! Thank you guys, you are amazing. Thank you for saving everyone. When there were so many car crashes, people are dead." They don't actually tell if anyone had died, but you gotta put 1 and 1 together and get 4. And it's just a really annoying experience when you watch it. But anyway, like the whole Fantastic Four show up, and they're like in the crowd and they can't move through the crowd, and they're like, I can't get through, and then they're like, "Sue, turn invisible," and she's like, "No, I don't want to turn invisible." And they're like, "Sue, turn invisible," and she's like, "Okay." She turns invisible, takes off all her clothes, and then she starts trying to turn invisible. Then her powers turn off. She comes up and she's in her undergarments, and like that's just another bit in this movie where it's just like, this isn't funny. This is really embarrassing and really quite weird, and it was just an excuse to get Jessica Alba not wearing pretty much any clothes. But then the scene moves on, and she like gets through the crowd, completely invisible, while the other two just literally walk around the crowd, get through it anyway. And they like clap them off at the end. They're like, "Yeah, you saved us, but we're not going to mention all the people that got killed, but you saved us." And they keep going, and like another thing that I thought was pretty funny was Michael Chiklis' character, who he plays the Thing. He was engaged before he went to space. Everyone went to space, by the way. And he went after the bridge thing. His fiance came there, and she stands there, takes off the engagement ring and puts it on the ground. Why would you do that? It just seemed really stupid that you would do something like that. Like not from a personal point of view, like an actual movie critic review of what people would do. Why would you just be like, "I'm not gonna marry you, so I'm gonna take this really expensive ring that you gave me for it, and I'm gonna go to a bridge where you saved a whole bunch of people. I'm gonna put it on the ground and walk away." And I'm like, what the heck is wrong with you? Can you not learn to love? Jeez. Crazy movie. Victor Von Doom, as I said before, great in the role. Thought he was great. His powers were pretty bad. Like Doom in the comics, he is a lead. He's a country leader. Sorry about that. We just moved to a different location, a lot more easier location to record from. I was talking about Doctor Doom and what he is in the comics. He is he's a world leader. He is a president of his own country, and of Latveria. That's the made up country. Well, fictional country. Sorry, shouldn't say made up. But he's a leader of his own country, and he has diplomatic immunity. So whatever he does, he can't get in trouble. That's how and. Fun fact, he's actually Stan Lee's favorite villain he ever created.
And I love the idea of Doctor Doom. I think he is one of the most brilliantly made characters in Marvel history. I absolutely love it. But what his powers is that he's not like in the movie where he turns into metal and can conduct electricity. He uses magic and like technology to move stuff. I know magic is just like pretty far fetched when it comes to movie stuff, but like Doctor Strange. Oh, sorry about that. Doctor Strange made magic seem normal. So that's just what I'm saying. And it's pretty much a combination of Doctor Strange and Iron Man is Doctor Doom in a villainous role. Great character, great performance. Absolutely loved the performance in the movie. However, Johnny Storm. I was really surprised when I watched this movie, because if you don't know, in the comics, Johnny Storm is blonde. He's a fiery blonde-haired boy. He's a boy. He's a fiery blonde-haired boy, and he in the movie has a crew cut, and that was really confusing for fans because they're like, this isn't Johnny Storm, and he was played by Chris Evans too. So that's kind of hilarious how Chris Evans went from playing a snotty, cocky, annoying superhero character to Captain America. definitely a way different part in the role, but I feel like he did well with the movie, even though the movie's not very good. Definitely good. Let's move on to Fantastic Four 2, Rise of the Silver Surfer. Now, this movie had so much like potential. And by the way, like Fox at the moment, when they were making their movies, they had the X-Men, Daredevil, and the Fantastic Four all in movies at the same time. Why did they not cross them over? Why is that not a thing? Oh my gosh, it just makes me angry. I would love to see I don't care if it's a crossover. I don't care if it's the Avengers. I don't care if it's just like the Fantastic Four flying in their little ship, and the X-Men are like, there's the Fantastic Four. Isn't that cool? Or the Fantastic Four looking in the news and like, that's Wolverine. That's cool. Oh, they tried to destroy the Statue of Liberty. That's really cool. It's just like stuff like that. What the heck? You just need to be able to do this, and it just makes me sad. But rant over. But this movie had so much potential. It was gonna bring the Silver Surfer, Galactus, into the movie series. The first adaptations of the Silver Surfer and Galactus. And they ruined it. They didn't do a good job. Like, this movie is a little bit better than the first one, like in terms of storytelling and in terms of how they did the movie. But apart from that, it isn't good. It hurts my brain how this had so much potential. It could have learned from its mistakes, but it didn't. I'm just gonna run through the movie real quick. The movie starts with like a meteor crashing into the planet, and it's actually the Silver Surfer. Doctor Doom tries to go. Doctor Doom gets released from his little cage thing, and then goes after the Silver Surfer, and confronts him and gets hit by a massive power surge, and gets thrown away. And so the Fantastic Four have to work with him, and the whole first part of the movie is the Fantastic Four getting ready for Susan and Reed's wedding. Stupid. But they quickly go after the Silver Surfer, and they quickly lose fights with the Silver Surfer until they capture the Silver Surfer. And he's like, Galactus eats worlds. Galactus will kill you and eat your world. Because that's what Galactus does. He eats worlds. He eats them. He's the eater of worlds. Not Bray Wyatt. He is the eater of worlds. That is a reference to something else. If you get it, then you are a genius. But it had so much potential, and it just went flat. But do you know what else had so much potential? Do you know what else had so much potential? Fantastic Four 2015. Or Fan 4 Stick. Now, I'm going to quickly run through, like what I did with Fantastic Four 94, quickly run through the other part of the story of this movie, because it's pretty quite interesting. So, when the Fantastic Four movie in 2009, Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer, failed, they kind of went, this isn't going to work, it's not good, it's not going to work. And so they went with another superhero movie that they released called Chronicle, a found footage movie about a bunch of boys who get superpowers, and it was a success. And it was the first movie by this director Josh Trank, and Josh Trank immediately after the success of this movie rose to like amazing heights in this movie. He was signed on by Disney to direct a Boba Fett film. He was immediately signed on to make a Fantastic Four movie, and he was ready to go. And so they quickly some stuff started getting released. Like they casted Kate Mara, Miles Teller. I forgot the other guy. The guy who played Ben Grimm, all in the roles, and then everything was fine up until that point, until they announced Michael B. Jordan as Johnny Storm. Now, this is where the internet really, really went into a really, really bad moment of its life, where a whole bunch of racist trolls came out and were like, panned the movie for making the always white, always blonde Johnny Storm. And just pans the movie. They're like, this movie's gonna be bad. Why would you ruin this? Why would you make a character like this not like the source material? What the heck? And you know, that makes me sad, because like I feel like with the right material, Michael B. Jordan is a brilliant actor. If you guys have seen Just Mercy, he did a really, really good job in the movie. He did a really, really good job in the role that he played. Like, definitely go check out Just Mercy. He's a great, great actor. Creed is one of my favorite movie series ever made. Love it, but in this role, people just hated him. They were just like, he's bad, he's not good, why would you do this? Why would you ruin this character? I'm putting emphasis on this stuff because I'm actually making fun of these people because they are really stupid, in my opinion. And, like, why would you make something like this, like, such a big problem? Like, the director clearly had a vision in what he wanted in this. You don't need to make it exactly like the comics. I mean, Nick Fury in the comics was, like, a white man for, like, so long, and then when Samuel Jackson got cast in the role, they changed it. Like, there's so many characters that change from the source material. You can't just get angry at people for doing this. Anyway, the movie continued filming. There were a lot of problems on set, but there was just, like, so many things being released. Like, oh, yeah, you know, fights on set, fires on set, reshoots, and the fans were getting worried until they released their teaser trailer. And it was a really good trailer. Definitely go back and watch the trailer. It's a really, really good trailer. But from what we could see by the trailer is that that's the whole movie. It wasn't like, oh yeah, this is the bits and pieces. It was the whole movie. Now, the movie got into a lot of controversy. The director, Josh Trank, after filming had wrapped, after so many reshoots and so many bad film shoots, Josh Trank was meant to arrive at a Disney party in which he was going to announce this Boba Fett movie, but he didn't show up, and mysteriously the Fantastic Four trailer got posted. Not the teaser trailer, just a Fantastic Four movie trailer got posted on a Sunday, which is very weird. Movie stuff do not get posted on Sundays. It's just that you just don't do that, and so it's very weird that had happened and that was going on. But it ended up coming to light that the reason that it happened was because this guy Josh Trank wasn't a very good person. He destroyed the house that Warner Brothers gave him, which was $100,000 worth of damage. He'd have constant fights on set. He was a perfectionist and no one liked him and whatnot. And then the movie got released to awful reviews. And then, yeah, not really much else to say about that, but let's just get into the movie. The movie, like, can I just say, I watched the movie. I liked the first 3/4 of the movie are brilliant. Absolutely amazing. The only thing that ruins the movie is the last 20 minutes. The last 20 minutes is the only thing that ruins the movie. You do not, and I repeat, you do not reveal your main villain with 15 minutes left in your movie. You do not reveal your main villain, especially in a superhero movie. You don't reveal your main villain 15 minutes before the end credits, where you have a massive big battle. They literally revealed the villain, which was Doctor Doom, as per usual. Revealed the villain. Villain escaped. They went to another planet thing. They fought him for 5 minutes, and then the movie ended. You do not, and I repeat again, you do not do this. You need to flush out your characters. You don't just go, okay, we flushed them out this far. Let's bring them into the ending. Yes, let's bring them into the ending. Let's bring them into this final battle. You need to have, I would have been fine if they had another 45 minutes left in the movie. That's all they would need. 45 minutes. 45 minutes of just, the villain getting revealed, the villain coming back, and, massive big fight that goes for, 20 minutes. They can't defeat him. Galactus gets revealed and whatnot. And it was just a bad movie. I can't stress enough. It's a bad movie. It makes me angry. It makes me angry that someone in the higher ups of the world would think, this is a good movie. This is a great movie. I love it. I can't believe it. This is a good movie. Great movie. I love it. This is so good. So good. Why would you do this? Makes me upset. I'm going to talk about now. I'm going to talk about some stuff that I've been watching in the past week. That 70s Show. I watched the whole series of That 70s Show. If you haven't seen That 70s Show, watch it. It's a great show. I must warn you, if you have watched Orange is the New Black, not just being if you watch Orange is the New Black, you're not going to like the show, but it kind of ruined the show for me, because one of the main characters in That 70s Show is a main character in Orange is the New Black, and she plays a completely different character in That 70s Show, and it's just really trippy watching the show and be like, wait, you were this person in this show. You just weird me out right now. Not in a bad way. Sort of in a bad way. I mean by that, but if you watch someone in a show like this, you're like, okay. Definitely go check it out. Great show. I also watched a movie this week called Charlie Says. Now, I also watched, as well, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but I'm just going to talk about Charlie Says, because that was a really interesting movie. It was a biopic about Charles Manson, and about how he manipulated his, the women in his group to do his work for him. Pretty much, not manipulate them using, love, sex, drugs to bring them into his community and whatnot. And if you don't know who Charles Manson is, I would really suggest, watching a few documentaries about him, watching this movie. It's really quite interesting. Charles Manson was a man who believed that he was a Jesus figure. He was brought into the world for the sake of being a god to people. and he manipulated his these people to just love on each other and whatnot, and follow him and do everything he says, and it eventually led to him. By the way, this is in Hollywood. This is in that area of Hollywood. This is where this happened in Hollywood. He ordered four people to go and kill, go into this house and kill these actors. It was famous actor Sharon Tate, who was pregnant at the time. Her husband, Roman Polanski, who made Rosemary's Baby, was actually not in the house. He was filming somewhere else. But they had a house full of, like, a whole bunch of their family friends in there. And they went in there, and they went in there and they killed them. They killed a pregnant woman. It was brutal. And even though Charles Manson never killed a single person, Charles Manson in real life is much like the Jigsaw debate. If you watch the Jigsaw series, Jigsaw movie. See, Jigsaw was a man who he had brain cancer and he was dying, and he was so depressed because he had brain cancer that he attempted suicide, but survived miraculously. And what do you do when you have an epiphany? You share it with other people. So people who did bad stuff in their life would be tested, and would be tested in that way. So the whole debate throughout the entire Saw series is, this guy is a murderer, and he's like, I haven't murdered a single person. They killed themselves. I just helped them out. I just put them into this trap, and if they don't have the will to survive, then that's their own fault. And the debate in this thing is that is he a real killer? He is a real killer. If you think about Charles Manson in this point, because Charles Manson never killed a person. He never actually killed a person. He sent his people and said, go kill this people. And so he sent the people to go kill them. And Jigsaw got the people and put them in the traps where they would die. It's the same concept for both of them. Even though they didn't pull the trigger, they didn't use the knife, they still orchestrated them. They still orchestrated the murder, which makes them a killer. And so Charles Manson got put in prison for that. The women who did his bidding got put in prison as well. And pretty much everyone renounced Charles Manson in the end. Definitely watch this movie. Very good. The guy who played Charles Manson did a really, really good job. Really good job in the role. Definitely go see it. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, on the other hand, is a Quentin Tarantino movie. Now, Quentin Tarantino has made like a few movies recently. Inglourious Basterds, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where he takes a big significant event in the world and then like changes some bits in it, such as in Inglourious Basterds, where the Americans kill Hitler. Like, it was, the question was with the movie was, what happens if the Americans, like, if a German soldier who was higher up betrayed the German army and got the Americans to kill Hitler? That was the story of this one. But this one was, what if a actor who used to be famous but is like trying to work his way back up, rather than Sharon Tate being the person who the Charles Manson people go for, they go for this actor who lives in the same estate as Sharon Tate. And it's really quite interesting how they orchestrated it, because rather than these people who follow Charles Manson, rather than them killing the people in the house, they end up getting killed. And it was really a bit of good irony in the movie. If you haven't seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, definitely go and see it. It's a great movie. Great movie series. Definitely go see it. Here's another piece of news. Sorry, we kind of moved past the news, but I'm just going to say this right now. Marvel have just recently, I think it was today, they've moved back every movie that they were going to release, such as Black Widow is now coming out on the 6th of November 2020. The Eternals is coming out the 12th of February 2021. Shang-Chi, the 7th of May 2021. The Multiverse of Madness, the 5th of November 2021. Thor: Love and Thunder, 18th of February 2022. Black Panther 2, 6th of May 2022, and Black Marvel, the 8th of July 2022. Wow, that was a lot of things, and yeah, it makes me sad very much. Definitely go see it. I'm gonna sign off now. Stay safe out there. Stay safe. Listen to the podcast. Follow me on Instagram at the Movie Scoops Podcast. Thank you, and I will sign off.